So there Abby was, all excited about this first date she's about to have. And the unlikeliest of people messed it up. Rebecca's dad.
So shocking. If you had to give me a list of all the people that I thought could screw this up for me, I'd probably be at the top of the list, and Rebecca's dad would be at the bottom. And unfortunately, Rebecca's dad totally screwed up my date to the point where I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to see this man again. So I'm dipping my toe back into the dating pool again. I relapsed and I got back on the apps because I'm lonely. And
Is it any different this time than it was last time?
It's, you know what? I don't know if it's just that I've included less information about myself on my profile, but I am getting an obnoxious amount of matches. I don't know if it reset my algorithm, but I felt like, I don't know what's going on, but I feel like every time I get on the apps, I have like 15 dudes waiting for me.
So you relapsed again.
Well, did I? No, because
you relapsed before, but you went back on Hinge, but you said it was an S show, so you immediately shut it down again. So does that mean this
is number 2?
Again?
This isn't great. Yeah, this isn't a good look for me.
It's fine if you want to get back on the apps.
Yeah, I know.
Even when you stop drinking, you know what? You go a little while and then you slip sometimes, and then you stop drinking. You slip sometimes. So it's the same thing.
Yeah, and so I was on the apps, and I'm getting like an obnoxious amount of matches, which is different than my previous experiences. So I thought, you know what? Maybe the guys are just in a better mood to date now that I'm 28. Maybe I've unlocked a new level of man that is looking for a 28-year-old wife. I don't know. So I end up matching with this guy, and he checks all the boxes on paper: 6'5", blue eyes, finance. And I'm like, okay, let's go out on a date. So we start talking. I immediately give him my number, and it turns out that we were both going to the Atlanta United game on Saturday. And I was like, perfect. Well, what I like to do on the dating apps is, because people can just be so different in person, and not like a catfish way, but sometimes your energies just don't gel in person the same way that you gel over text. So my goal was to meet this person as soon as possible and do what I like to call a vibe check, where you have the lowest commitment date, where you literally just meet them and suss out whether or not you guys are going to be compatible for an actual first date. So I said, let's just bump into each other at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
So you're not going to the game together?
No. We both had separate tickets. We got hooked up because we're community partners with Atlanta United. Shout out them. They gave us Delta Club seats, which was amazing.
Yes, they were.
And he was going to go sit in a suite somewhere. So I was like, perfect. We probably have access to some kind of joint private area. So let's just bump into each other at Mercedes-Benz. So we get there, and I'm real nervous. I haven't been on a first date in a hot second. I'm sweaty. I'm freaking out. The guy didn't confirm our date until literally I was in my Uber on the way to Mercedes-Benz. So I'm like, I think I'm about to get stood up. So I'm in the Delta Club, I'm chugging a margarita, and finally he's like, hey, I'm at the Bud Light bar outside the Delta Club if you just want to bump into each other and hang out for a bit. So I mosey my way up. I see him. He's actually not a jerk at all. He was so nice. We're having a great time. We're having a conversation. And to paint a picture for you, we're at this Bud Light bar that's in the 100 concourse, and we're both leaning up against one of those standing bars, you know what I mean? How there's a ledge where you can set your drink and you can have a conversation with someone. He's facing the concourse and I'm facing the field. So my back is to where all the people are walking around trying to go find their seats. And as I'm mid-conversation with this man, I see an older gentleman in his 50s or 60s walk past me and turn around and kind of give me a knowing look, kind of a sneaky little I know who you are. And I'm like, oh, this must be a Bert Show listener. He looks vaguely familiar, but I'm like, he could be literally anybody. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Kind of weird that he noticed me from this angle, but alas, and I continue my conversation. And then all of a sudden I feel a little on my shoulder about 20 minutes later. And it's the same guy, the older gentleman who had given me a knowing look. And I look at him and I go, hi, because I know where this is about to go. And he goes, hi. And I was like, do you listen to the Bert Show? And he was like, yeah. And I'm shaking his hand. My date is totally confused. He's like, who is this? Is this your father? Is this your coworker? What's going on here? And I go, what's your name? Because I learned something from Bart, actually, my very first weekend here in Atlanta. When you meet a listener, make sure you get their name. That's just that's a very polite thing to do. Make sure you don't forget to get their name. So I'm like, what's your name? And so he's like, Dawn. And I'm like, cool. bye, Dawn. And so Dawn leaves. So now my date is like very impressed, but also like concerned. He's like, what's going on? And I had to tell him what my job was. And I had specifically avoided putting that back on my dating app because I don't like for people to Google me because it's a big turnoff for people apparently. So now I'm sitting here like, oh, now after this date, this man's going to go upstairs and Google me, blah, 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 blah. And I get back to the Delta Club after I finish this date, and Rebecca texts me. She goes, did a man interrupt your date? And I was like, yeah. And then I go, oh, shoot. I was like, was that your dad? And she was like, yep, that's your dad. Or that was her dad. And basically, I just got the sense from texts I got from my date afterwards that he had Googled me. And I have not heard from this man since, so I don't think there will be date number 2. Yeah, but this is the whole same song and dance. Like they look up me on Instagram. They get kind of a weird vibe. It's not for them, and it's fine.
Well, I sort of understand where they're coming from. I mean, you have to take us out of this for a second. Like, if you were. Look, Olivia Munn would be my get out of jail free card, right? If there was somehow, some way, some chance that we would start to date or I would meet her to ask her out, I would ask myself, is this the kind, do I want press? I mean, it's obviously a different scale. Do I obviously want to be in the public eye? What is she going to talk about that is part of our personal life? I'm not a public person. I can understand how a lot of people would just go, you know what? No matter what she's about, I'm just not into it.
I think the equivalent is meeting somebody who's in reality TV and you having to decide if you want your life blasted to everybody.
Okay, that makes more sense because Olivia Munn, I was with it. But I understand.
I'd get over it.
Yeah. It wouldn't be an issue for me.
I don't come with Olivia Munn's face or fortune, so you've got some sacrifices.
We're essentially reality TV minus the TV. Like we put everything out there about our lives, and either people are going to be into that or they're not going to be into it.
I can understand that.
That makes sense.
So I got to defend my dad's name just a little bit because this was intentional on his part. So if you remember, I had the listener who I solicited to come impress my date by pretending to know who I was. So my dad walked by Abby, recognized Abby, said, that's Abby. What if I go up and say, hey, she's famous to her date? Thinking it was going to be a huge prank because Abby knows who he is. And then Abby didn't know who he was. She thought he was a fan.
I met him like for 5 seconds at your Oscar watch party. I was like, I'm stressed. I'm in the middle of this date, so now I feel horrible. I'm like, now Rebecca's dad thinks I don't care about him. But I just don't recognize people very well.
He was trying to do a good deed and it ended up backfiring.
It backfired big time.
Dang it.
Thanks, Rebecca's dad.
The Bert Show.